be back. I totally forgot that preseason NFL likes to tick up Fridays. I should do my eyebrows. But you know what? It don't even matter. Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Des. I am your host, Des, and we have a lot to get into and to talk about today. This is your Friday Night Lights show. And although it's not completely dark right now, we're going to get into it because we have 3 NFL games for preseason starting at 7 p.m. You're our voice crack? Starting at 7 p.m. So we're going to get this show out of the way because I already know myself. I'm going to wait till 10, 11 o'clock, and then I'm not going to do it. Plus, your girl got to work tomorrow. I got to work in the morning. Okay? So we got a lot of things to get done, a lot of things to cover. We're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to give you my 2 early predictions. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark. So all those things. So make sure you're hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's free to you, helpful to me. Congrats to 1K subscribers to the Daily Dose of Des and to Pretty Girls Love Sports, Pretty Girls Media. But you know what I got to do before we can hop into the topics and do all the things that we love to do. Okay? So, stay where you are. Okay? Admit it. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it loud. Got you feeling so proud. This is how we do it now. Daily Dose with Des. Got you coming back for more. Okay, the GOAT CC, and is. You know, likes to piss people off. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're hitting the like button on YouTube. Like the video, okay? It helps the algorithm, okay? If you're on TikTok, because it should be streaming live on TikTok, just send some hearts or likes or whatever you do. I'm not going to beg. I don't beg over here. That's not what we do. But let's go ahead and get into the topics. It's really not that many. Actually, when I think about it, it's not that many. But you know, I become chatty Cathy at some point. I be wanting to I be talking a little too much. So I can't wait until, yeah, there we go. That looks way better. I can't wait until my new webcam gets here because I don't like this. I need the one that's in 4K. This one I think is in like HD, but it's not giving what it needs to give because I feel like I'll be looking mad blurry. I'll be looking mad blurry on my screen because I watch myself on the screen. Usually it's here, but it's here today. It don't matter. It don't matter. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. If you've got spam accounts, hit the like button for the spam accounts too. But we're going to start off with something that I think, again, we start off with something positive. Today is also Thoughtful Friday. So just be thoughtful and mindful of the things that you're going through because it's always for a reason, whether we see it, or we believe it or not. Everything does essentially happen for some type of reason. Sometimes it's for a dumb reason to just like wake you up. Sometimes it's for a good reason. I don't want to say that. I shouldn't say it's dumb. But sometimes it's for a good reason. It's like to get you back on track or to like, you know, put you for full faith, you know. So like faith without work is dead, and you should have faith as much as a mustard seed moving forward. But you also have to put in the work. So just be mindful of that. Be thoughtful and continue to be as safe as you can be. Okay, period. That's come from Chaplain Days. Okay, anyway. So we're going to talk about the Patriot Games. So if you don't know what this is, this is the 2026 Patriot Games that was held in part by Freedom 250 and, of course, President Trump administration. And before you get all your hooplas in the hoop, please understand that this was actually really, really good. So there has been high school students from all 50 states, also from our territories and the tribal communities or tribal reservations that have participated in the Patriot Games. It is now over. It went from August 9th to the 11th. August 11th was the final day, and there was one boy and one girl that won, and they each got a $125,000 scholarship for winning. I believe, let me not say I believe. Let's not say I believe. Let me make sure I get their names right because their names are important. Not Patriot Games, okay. And essentially, what the Patriot Games was a whole bunch of different obstacles. So they have like, if you ever seen what what is it? The Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior. So they had obstacles like that. They did dodgeball and push-ups and mile run. They did so many different things. Like super duper fit. And when I seen it was like super lit. Pat McAfee was also a part of it. They have a whole bunch of different sponsors that, had this in Ohio. So a whole lot of patriotism just coming together for the Patriot Games to be able to, one, keep kids active and motivate our future athletes and our next round of athletes that we will see in all different type of sports. Like I see a lot of people just like up in like football, and now soccer is coming along the way, but all athletes of any kind. And if you've watched American Ninja Warrior, then you already know it's intense. It's intense. So I think it was really cool. I thought I took a screenshot too. Y'all know who I be. The Patriots. Hold on one second. I believe one of the girl's name is like Kennedy, but I want to make sure I get her name right. Okay. Okay. There was a Southern Utah team that won, and a Johnston County high schooler that won. So just letting you know that there. And so the male winner, his name was Rockwell Myers, and the female winner is Kennedy Furman. So congratulations to those two young future athletes that are doing things and that are patriotic and want to participate in our something that's going on, especially in celebration of America 250. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Okay, y'all already know where I stand. Y'all already know how I am. I'm super patriotic about it anyway. I think this is amazing. Not only to keep kids being active, to do different events, for them to be able to see what it's like. We need more American Ninja Warriors. Okay? All right. So we're not going to take a positive and make it a negative. Okay, so congratulations to them. Moving on. We're going to go into football. A lot of this outside of Caitlin Clark is football. So we're just going to knock all of our football stuff away. We're going to go into college football kind of segue here. So this is the head coach for Texas Tech. If you guys remember, for like 3 or 4 shows, we talked about Brendan Swarsby from Texas Tech. He was a quarterback who was caught cheating. He had went through a rehabilitation program, and he was trying to get back in. He sued in the state of Texas to play football again. Texas, the court system, reinstated him to play football, but the NCAA had already given him a life ban, as they typically do with most of the athletes most if not all of the athletes that are getting caught, whether they're cheating, gambling, whatever they're doing that is illegal. The NCAA typically puts a lifetime ban on him. He sued against the NCAA, won, and then was reinstated to play. And as soon as that was done, that opened up a can of worms, because after that, there were some schools that just pulled out saying, we will not play with you. We will not play with you. So now the coach is coming out and saying, like, it's frustrating, and they're having a really, really, really hard time. They're having a hard time because nobody wants to play them, allegedly. They're saying NC State pulled out, Mississippi State pulled out. I believe it was, Georgia had already said no. Lots of schools are like, no. And you're kind of facing your consequences in a way, because they stood behind their quarterback at one point before he decided he was going to go into the NFL supplemental draft. And the NFL supplemental draft was like, we're not having one this year, unfortunately. So you try again next year or whatever. So that didn't happen. And obviously he can't go back because he didn't already remove himself from school. So that's just the way it is. But you are going to start a cheating quarterback that came out of his own mouth and said it. It wasn't like there were allegations. He admitted to doing it. And yes, he did treatment and all those things, and did the suing and the court and all that. But he still admitted to doing it. So it was no way that you possibly thought that schools are going to want to willingly play you, especially the big name schools, when it's like, if you're promoting cheating. And we are not going to act like cheating doesn't happen across the board, though. We're not going to pretend it doesn't happen. Okay. But when you are having your quarterback that you're going to stand beside, and he is going to admit, why would you think that schools are going to want to play you? Why would you think that they're going to sign up on the dotted line to play you for future games? So they're just having a hard time. And as he said, it's frustrating and everything. And as it should be. As it should be, because that is crazy. Like, yes, That because when he got that ban and he came to you and said, "Hey, I want to come back. I want to play football. I'm not over." Da 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 da. Woo doo woo woo. It should have been an automatic. Unfortunately, we're going to stand beside the NCAA and the ruling, and we cannot allow it. But that's not what happened. So, I guess, what do you do in this type of situation? What do you do now at this point? I mean, they still have a schedule. I do think there are going to be schools that are going to play them. They're going to be like, sure, now that he's not there, but they are going to want to take precautions. They're definitely going to be on edge about it. Like, I don't know how you really come back for that. And it sucks because not everybody in the program, but as we know it, not everybody in the program was cheating. So it hurts them in the long run. And it's like, they just had this great season, like playoffs and all types of things. And it's like, it sucks because it's hurting the players. And essentially, it's in this era, I feel like the program is going to start crumbling. It's already crumbling, but I feel like it's really going to crumble when the players start leaving and entering in the transfer portal and being like, we don't want to be a part of none of that. And it also just leaves a stain. It just leaves such a bad stain. It's like, we don't really want to deal with that. We don't want to have to deal with all of that. But wait, I thought the NCAA cleared him to play though. No, the NCAA stood on 10 about their ban. They banned him. He sued the NCAA in court, in the Texas court. The Texas judge overturned or whatever the ban, and that was what cleared him to play. The NCAA was like, nah, we're not having it. Just like they did with all the other players. The players that have done basketball, have been caught gambling with football. Even the players that were like former players, like if they ever decided you can't come back anyway, so I don't even know why that was a thing. But yeah, the NCAA is trying to lock it down. So that was essentially his loss. He really messed that up. And so did the coach, in my opinion. But that's just what it is. Okay. Now, as we talk more about college football, we're going to move into talking about Jayden Daniels. Now, I at first when I saw this, I was like, since a cease and desist to LSU, like I'm thinking it's clickbait. I'm like, this must be rage bait content because it happens. Rage baiting all the time. It was not rage bait. So essentially, some of you may know what's going on here, some of you may not. But Jayden Daniels' team, we're gonna say his team, meaning like his management team, his mom, sent a cease and desist letter to LSU because DJ Pickett is now going to be wearing the number 5. And obviously DJ was like, he's been on the team for a while. He was promised that he could be able to wear number 5. And Jayden and his team felt that it was disrespectful that nobody has worn his number since he left. But also the fact that nobody else has worn, and this is, I'm going to say allegedly, right? But nobody else has worn Joe Burrow's number, since he left. So he doesn't understand why somebody is wearing his number, and he feels like the number should be retired. Now, this is where we get into the sense of entitlement. Okay, we understand that he won the Heisman, but it's no way, in my mind, there is no way that I'm going to retire Jayden Daniels' number, the transfer, the non-natty winner, over Joe Burrow anyway. First of all, he's not going first. If anybody's going to go first, it's going to be Joe Burrow. And honestly, there's a lot of players that came out of LSU within that 2019 National Championship team where numbers should be retired, whatever. But anyway, we're say Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow, because they're both quarterbacks. It's no way that you're going to get your number retired or not worn because you think you're on the same alignment as Joe Burrow. Not Ice Cold Joe. You're not getting that. That's just a sense of entitlement, right? When I think of it, I don't want to sound crazy or like I'm not hating. I can't. What am I hating on, right? I don't play football. But when I'm thinking of LSU in the most recent years, I don't think of Jayden Daniels at the top of the list. I don't. I'm thinking of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I'm thinking of those. Jetta, I'm thinking of so many other players before I even get to him. And again, it wasn't like he was there for like 5 years and he like deserved it, won the natty. Like that 2019 championship team was arguably one of the best college football teams that we have seen in a very, very long time. Very, very long. Just a whole team full of superstars. And I don't think Jayden was on that team. Now was he? So, I mean, and then of course it comes out in response like, I've been focusing on training camp. It wasn't me. It was my team. Your team is you. It's a part of you. They speak for you in representation of you. And if you didn't feel the type of way about it, maybe you should have just, whatever. That's cool. Let's go to the comments. Gotta love Texas. Yeah, but I love Texas. I feel like Texas was like, you know what? You want to play? Go ahead. That ain't our issue. National champion Joe. Exactly. National champion Joe. It's disrespectful, in my opinion, to even compare yourself to national champion Joe. Just saying. 9-1 should be retired. That's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I can agree there. I can agree. I don't think 5 is a big issue, and of course, I don't know if it's an AI picture or not. But after it was made a big deal, Jayden Daniels and his team made it a big deal. Allegedly, I'm saying alleged, okay? Allegedly, they all wore the number 5 to practice, like the following days. So that gives you their feedback on that. And I just feel like there's so many great LSU players that if they sat and retired everybody who was good, great, maybe even amazing, then you would literally have no numbers. You would have your running back in number 98. So come on. I just felt like this was just uncalled for. I don't think it needed to be a cease and desist to not use my name, image, and likeliness. I don't think that they're using his name, image, and likeliness, to be honest. If they're going to use anybody's, it's going to be national champion Joe, Jamar Chase, and all of the rest that came from there. And their current players that are currently on the team. So it's just, I think it was in poor taste, and I think you're upsetting your strong alumni base, and now they're gonna be looking at you like, let me look at it this way. You thought you was better than us? But that's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts there. I think that they ain't really think that through. I think that they thought that more people were going to be on their side than more people who weren't. Grass ain't always greener now, is it? Okay. All right. Now we're going to slide into NFL. Like I said, it's the preseason, all that stuff coming in. We have lots of different stories going on around here. But NFL season, why does that look like that? What is happening? Sometimes, I told y'all, when I be loading these in here, sometimes they don't be on my side. Anywho. So, NFL preseason obviously is here, and yesterday was a load of games. And again, I hate when people say, it's only preseason, you don't know. Those players are trying to make the team. They're trying to make somebody's roster, okay? So, they're gonna play, they're gonna give what they got. Okay, some of them are gonna let out the tank. Some of them may not, right? Like I watched Fernando Mendoza. I think he looks really good. And I hate when people was like, oh, in his post game, like, oh, he's talking like he's reading a presentation. He's waiting for the next slide. It's like, have you all not watched him from his time at Indiana and like every single press conference that he's done? Yes, he is well-spoken and probably well-rehearsed. And that's not a bad thing. That means he's going to get up there, know what he's going to say what he's got to say, keep it positive, and keep it pushing. When you get up there and you don't know what you're talking about or you don't know what you're saying, that's when you get responses. And I'm going to take a shot right now about coaches like that are coached in the WNBA, and they say they don't really understand. They got to do more research about what a girl is. Huh. I'm just saying. He goes up there. He will answer your talking points, but he also has it. He has it down pat where he's not gonna skirt too much from what he knows his talking points are. He ain't gonna get up there and just start rambling off and telling you a little bit of anything, everything, and then you peed off. The one thing he's not going to do is give you negative PR about him. He's not really going to give you a chance to say something that's really bad, that's going to shine badly on him. And I think that's a great thing. There needs to be more athletes that know how to get up there and stick to the script. Whether if it's a real script or like these are your points or these are your highlighted marks, or you talk about this, but you do not talk about that. Same way he went up there, he talked about Kirk Cousins, about him having precision and timing and all those things. He's talking about him in a positive light because why? Kirk Cousins is his veteran. So at the end of the day, most people are going to want him to go up there and be like, yeah, Kirk's trash. I'm going to be better than him. I'm going to be starting. That's not what he's going to do. So the fact that people are digging at him, it's like, what are we talking about? Y'all just not used to people being professional. That's the problem. You're used to people going up there, cursing and doing whatever they want to do, giving you mumbo jumbo, think pieces that nobody asked about, for real, and not being PR trained. He's PR trained, as he should be, as the #1 overall draft pick. What are we talking about, people? What are we talking about? Anyway, I'm going to stand beside him. All right? So that's just my spiel there. The Cardinals do look good. They look good. Gardner Minshew, impressive. I don't think Carson Beck played, but if he did, I missed it. I did watch Gardner. I missed Jacoby Brissett. Apparently he did good too, or whatever. But what I've seen of the Cardinals, it looks really good. They look pretty good. I think the Raiders still have to just figure out and iron out some things over there. Okay. It was hard to watch the 49ers and the Titans. I hope that is not who is making the run. No, that's not nice to say. I don't know. It was hard to watch for me. I'm like, God, dog, both these teams are struggling. They just as bad as each other. Okay? I was having some trouble watching that game. I really wasn't for it. Only Commanders fans agree. And some of them don't in terms of Jayden Daniels. But who else did I watch? I watched a little bit of Pittsburgh and the Packers, which I was not upset about, obviously. We know who I am, but I give y'all, I drag everybody. Okay? Don't just get confused because I'm wearing my Steelers shirt today. It's just what I happen to have on, and I wasn't going to go downstairs to change my clothes. All right? So, I was impressed, though. Drew Aller, to me, I know some people are like, Will Howard is better than Drew Aller. I don't know. I don't know that I feel that way. I do feel that Mason needs to get the boot. Mason needs, in my opinion, from what I watched and the sequence that I watched, because keeping 4 QBs is not going to fly. And you got big AR over there still going to do his thing. I personally like Drew Aller. I think that he fits the same way that I said that Daniel Jones fits the Colts. I'm going to say the same thing for Pittsburgh. And I know that I'm going to get people that are going to be, and a lot of times they be in my DM. They don't even be in my comments telling me that they're wrong or how they feel. They be in my DM. And if I'm petty and I show the DM and then I say, oh, remember you said this and it came. Okay. Anyway. But I think Drew Aller fits. I like him. And I know they were like, oh, he wasn't even a Pittsburgh fan. He didn't want to go there. Maybe so, but he looks good now. Looks good to me. 2 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. One he took him for himself. He's tall. That arm is crazy. I definitely think that at Penn State, maybe he had some offensive coordinator issues. I don't know. I know a great offensive coordinator right now. He's on the high school level. And I can't wait till he gets to the further up. But he's done youth, high school, and now semi-professional. So he's actually been a professional coach, right? And I think when I think of offensive coordinating and how you really can make or break a player, I think of him. And he is so great. And I feel like a great coach makes a great player, especially a quarterback. So maybe he did have offensive coordinator problems there at Penn State, but I like him. I think he fits really, really well. I don't know if I was sold on Will Howard when we got him. I wasn't sold then, and I'm not sold now. I'm just not. But maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. I think when you pick people that you like, you stick with them and you like them. And you're going to stand beside them. So although Drew rubbed me the wrong way when he first got drafted, but I can understand now. Okay? I understand. He had to get over that hump. But he is literally a Pennsylvania guy. That's Pittsburgh. Like, I don't know. I like him. I think Drew is up next as well. Mason Rudolph is going to get is it Rudolph or Randolph? I think it's Rudolph. He's going to get cut. Period. He's going to get cut like he did. Like Kenny Too Small Pickett. Okay, they're gonna get rid of him. They are. That's just the thing. I think Mason has been a great asset and a great backup quarterback to Pittsburgh. Obviously, he likes being there. Same way I felt about Doug Hodges when he was there. Same thing I thought about Dobbs when we had him, slightly like really great asset to the team. But if I'm looking at all four quarterbacks, the weakest link in that quarterback room, in my opinion, is Mason. And I think that Drew's up next. So whatever, Mike A, quarterbacks coach. I really don't be loving Will Howard is from the Ohio State. So yeah, I mean, could you argue that maybe he had a really great team around him, which made him be even better as a quarterback in terms of Will Howard? I don't know. I just wasn't sold. I really wasn't sold when they got him in the draft. And then he ended up injured and hurt. And like, maybe I just didn't see enough of him to be like, oh yes, I hit him. But I literally watched the entire series with Drew Aller. And I'm going to watch him in other preseason games as well, because maybe my opinion will change. Y'all know if it changes, I'll come up here and tell y'all that my opinion changes. But I just like to give what I can give in terms of what I feel when it's my opinion. Not when it's the facts, though. I mean, if you look at the numbers, stats don't lie in terms of Drew Aller being better. Remember, y'all say stats don't lie when it came down to talk about Shador? Yeah, so there's that. I may have it wrong. They just keeping him for no reason. Keep it who? They're not gonna get rid of they don't want to get rid of Will Howard because obviously that was draft capital. And Mason, I feel like he came back because there was a lot of things they needed somebody, because at some point Will Howard was hurt. And then Aaron Rodgers is old, and yeah, you gotta have something in your at least three QBs in your QB room. Of course, 4 is a no go. We're not gonna do that. We're not. Hopefully, I'm saying we as a fan. I'm not in a part of the franchise, but they better not keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster. I'm just saying that, in my opinion. So there's that. You're right. The comment says Will Howard doesn't have the it factor. I do agree. I do agree with that. I don't know. Drew Aller is just so like, he's so like, I don't know. I just like him. And then hearing the commentators be like, he's big and fast. And he can run. And he can throw. You know what it reminds me of? Big Ben. And I was like, they may be onto something. They may be onto something. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. But moving on from there, though, who else played last night? Because let me pull up my ESPN. Why I keep timing out? ESPN, stop playing with me. Who else played last night? I can't wait to see the Bucks and what they put on the field. The Bengals and the Lions. So the Bengals won 16-14. They looked pretty good out there. Joe Burrow did play a little bit, getting him back right. I can't wait to see what he does. Obviously, like I said, the Steelers won 28-9 against the Packers. Apparently, the Packers fans are super excited the fact that they have a kicker now. So congratulations on getting your kicker. Hopefully, he can kick you guys' way into many, many more wins, even though you didn't win this one. In-season wins. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Patriots and the Colts tied at 13. Okay. The Chargers came out charging. They won 27-7 against the Texans. Now. The players that are playing, because they had a lot of moving parts this all season. A lot of moving parts from draft to signings and things. 7 points? Okay. Raiders and 49 Raiders and 49ers. Raiders and Cardinals 27-14. Titans and 49ers 19-13. Now, I would think, right, if you have all of your rookies that are on the field that are coming out of college, obviously they're learning and growing and all those things. You have some of the veterans being in there and they're playing and all that. 7 to 9 points in preseason, because in y'all mind, preseason is super dumb easy, right? So if it's super dumb easy, why we only have 7 to 9 points? Okay, I don't know. Let me shut up. Let me shut up and move on. But yeah, so tonight we have the Broncos and the Falcons, the Dolphins and the Commanders, the Buccaneers and the Jets. I think those are going to be pretty decent games. I want to see the Falcons. I believe are going to start Tua, turn the ball over. So hopefully he's not going to do that. And this game, like he's really like he plays well in the indoor. Apparently, he plays really well when he's in Atlanta. So I think that he's going to when he's previously when he used to go to Atlanta, he used to play really well, especially in the domes. So I think that it may be a good fit. I don't think Michael Penix Jr. is even will even make an appearance this season. I don't think so. Last time I know he was, still recovering and trying to, get back right, get back into it. I can't wait to see Bo Nix. Hopefully Bo Nix does a little one two step. I don't know that I haven't really kept up with the Broncos. The Dolphins and the Commanders might be the weakest game of the three, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. And then Bucks, Jets. I don't know if we're gonna see Baker, Chef, Mayfield. I hope we do, because y'all know I love me some Baker. So yeah, we're gonna see it like that. Okay. But we're gonna move on from that because I feel like I've been talking too much, like this, like that. Okay. Aaron is seasoned, not old. You are correct. Aaron is very seasoned and not old, because the person that just made this comment is definitely a LeBron fan, and he would say that LeBron is not old, LeBron is seasoned. So I understand why he's saying that. Okay. Jordan Love looked good. Okay. Jordan Love looked good. I expected Jordan Love to look good though. Like I have no questions, gripes concerning anything about Jordan Love at all, honestly. Love looked good. Rookie running back. Oh, Jeremiah Love for the Cardinals. He definitely looked good. Definitely looked good. If they can get some more blocking in there and get a good old like tight end in there, yeah, he's going to definitely turn it up. If Tua wins that job, it's going to be crazy. Tua is definitely going to win that job. Not let's go Dolphins. Hilarious. But my grandma was a Dolphins fan, y'all. Everybody always asks me, like, why am I not a Dolphins fan? Because I didn't grow up a Dolphins fan. I grew up as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because she eventually became a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Probably because Mike Tomlin, probably because Ben Roethlisberger, probably because Troy Polamalu, probably because Jerome Bettis, probably because like all of the greats that we had over there. So yeah, I grew up as a Steelers fan. So, whatever, moving on. I think that the Bills have something. The Bills stadium, why is this picture so big? Girl. Okay, so this is the new Highmark Stadium that the Bills, let me correct that. The taxpayers in New York, up in Buffalo, helped to pay for the $2.2 billion stadium that is brand new. And it looked like the engineers came out of the 1990s. No, I'm stop playing. So I did see some pictures, I did see some videos, I did see some commentary, and I definitely was in the comments. Because obviously I didn't go see it in person. They held an event there, like as like an opener, to get the people excited. Obviously, Buffalo has one of the most passionate fan bases, obviously with the Bills Mafia, in terms of helping people out and just being there and all in. They've had to get through, and struggle to get through the Patrick Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons and over and over and over again to get, to try to get to the Super Bowl. And it didn't happen last year. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen for them now at this point. Josh Allen has been in the NFL for what, 11 seasons now? I don't know how long. Has it been 7 or 11? It's been longer than 5. Okay. So, they deserved something. Okay, they didn't want to give him a dome because they said, we have the home field advantage. We like going out there and scooping the snow. We're gonna put a little. I don't even know what the thing is. officially called, but I was calling it a little awning. We're gonna put a little awning on there so that way, the fans and all that don't really get snowed on as much or rained on as much. We're also gonna put some wind things so that way the wind and all that, so wind chill when it comes in, it's not so cold in there. And maybe they did do all of those things. However, the pictures that I saw, which there was way too many pictures for me to get, but you can look it up, especially on the Google. So type it in Bills 2.2 million stadium. There is a obstructed views, right? And I know some people came on and it was defending like some of those views are not going to be sold tickets. Well, that's dumb. Some of those views are not that bad. Well, that's dumb. The Cowboys Stadium has the same obstructed views. Well, that's dumb to compare because the Cowboys do have that big, huge arse. I'm not gonna say the word on there. Screen where if your view is a little blocked here, you can see the World Wide Web up there. You can see everything possible up there. So okay, what I would say to that though. I seen their jumbotrons. They're not jumbo. They're just trons. Ain't nothing jumbo about it. You know what? Let me not even. I'm not even gonna make y'all do no work. I'm gonna look it up for y'all. Okay. Now, so I can understand. Hold on. Boom. Let me go back. I can understand the glass and the stair because obviously you made it. You made the stairs. You got how else you gonna get up there, right? This is boom. I can understand. Let me rotate my phone so you can see it. Turn the brightness up. Okay, it's not rotating, obviously. Okay, I'm just zoom in. I can understand that. Can you even see that? Probably not. Let me get it closer to the camera. I can understand that. Can y'all see that? Probably not. My light right here is gonna kill it every time. Let's see if I can bring that down here. No, not really. You can't really see what I'm trying to show you. A little bit. Neither here nor there. I'm glad I had pants on and pull my whole thing down. I can understand a glass view. You making it glass because there's stairs and fans got to get through. I can understand that, right? What I can't understand, and again, they said this section here, you can see better from here, is actually maybe if I turn my brightness down. Yeah, turn the brightness down. If you see here, this is supposed to be the obstructive view here, this thing here, and they're saying that these, tickets that have those views are not being sold, which is dumb. That's revenue loss, right? Okay. There were some other ones too. They said that this right here, you see that blocking that? Yeah. Can you see that? You see that big thing here, right in here. They're saying that those seats apparently are not going to be sold either. But if they are going to be sold, then they're just going to tell you that, it's going to be obstructed view. Okay. So apparently it tells you that. And there's also season ticket holders where they're saying that the rendered version that they were told, like these are going to be your seats and it may be a rail, it may be some glass, maybe something there, that when they got there, they're not happy about what they saw. Right. And the Jumbotron, again, is like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Let's see. Jumbotrons. Okay. Chad, they're not even trying to show the Jumbotron. Okay. Here's one. It blends in. You can't even see it. Okay. Is this one better? Yeah. Okay. You see how small that is? Yeah. This Highmark Stadium sign is about bigger than the Jumbotron. And they're on the sides. Obviously, they don't have anything to hoyer it for it to drop down in the center, right? So what they could have done too is added some boards on the side. I know the Ravens Stadium is like that. They have, I haven't been in a couple years, but when I worked there, they had the big ones on the sides and everything, right? And again, it's pretty. I like how they did some colors and everything. There's also complaints that there are no bathrooms on that higher level on the upper deck, and it's really, it's a steep walk to get up there, which is a concern, right? Why you don't have any bathrooms up there? What are we doing? What are we doing? Do you have concessions up there? If you have concessions up there, you should have bathrooms up there. Not understanding that, right? And my argument back to people who are defending it is this is a modern day $2.2 billion stadium. There should be no obstructed views. Excuse me. There should be no obstructed views. There should be bigger jumbotrons. There should be bathrooms. There should be the glory. Every stadium that has a mistake in it should have looked at it, studied it, and figured out how to do it. Your engineers, your aerodynamics, and all of those, your designers and all of those, your architects, everybody should have been able to put this stadium together to where there is no obstructed, obscured, sideways, small views at all. For $2.2 billion, and most of it the taxpayers had to pay. Or at least a grip of it. There's no reason why you can't see, and you're telling me, oh, well, that seat not going to get sold. Why ain't it? It's $2.2 billion. Why ain't it? What? Every seat, and it's smaller, allegedly. You might have to fact check me on that, but I read it's smaller than the actual stadium that it can in terms of seats, of how many seats it holds. Allegedly. I don't know. Maybe it's bigger, maybe it's the same size. That could be a lie. I, God forbid, hope it's not smaller. I hope it is bigger, so maybe the seat not being sold is okay. Like, what are we doing? You could have easily built bar decks where it doesn't have to necessarily protrude out. There's no reason in my mind how modern day you have this huge mistake, this huge blunder of things. And they're like, oh, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to work on it. Work on it? What are we working on? What's the it? Are you going to at least put bigger screens in there? That's at least you could do. Do they got any more money left? Where are they going to get the money from? I don't know. I just know that when I saw it, I was like, I would be pissed if I was a fan. I would be pissed if I was a taxpayer and I had to help do this. That stadium should be beautiful and it should have a dome, bro. You can't do anything you can't do anything else there because it's a dome. It's not a dome. I think they said that the NFL was trying, and fun fact, the NFL and the Super Bowl are really kind of like two different entities there. So the Super Bowl is licensed and partnered with the NFL to have the Super Bowl, right? So the Super Bowl and the NFL are trying to move in the direction of having the stadiums be domed, obviously for a better and more comfortable experience. So at some point they want to move away. I think that Levi may have been the last open air stadium in terms of going for Super Bowl. Because if you look at the next couple stadiums, Nashville, I don't know if Nashville is getting a dome or not. They may be getting a dome or something that you can open and close, but if not, it's not super cold in Nashville during the month of November. So there's that. But, you have to have a certain amount of seats. You have to have allegedly like the dome, and they're trying to make sure it's a whole better experience, because who wants to have a football game in February and it's snowing outside and it's snow everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So now you have a stadium that you spent so much money on that is really not being used for anything outside of the Buffalo Bills. Are they worth it? Absolutely. But it's just not cost effective, in my opinion. So at that point, it's like, well, what is going on? Maybe the fans may love to get hired to shovel snow, but maybe they're tired of it too. Maybe they just want to enjoy the luxury of the game. Maybe they want to come inside and you're like, you know what? It's freezing outside. They tailgate outside all day anyway. And then when they come in, they want to have a comfortable experience where they can take them heavy polar bear coats off and sit and just enjoy the game. They can hang TVs off the walls. So then the free seats, I didn't. Yeah. Maybe it is the free seats. I don't know. I would be pissed. Give me a free seat and I can't even see nothing. I don't know, y'all. I think it's just absolutely kind of crazy, in my opinion. Like, you spent how much? You spent how much? What? SoFi should have been a motivation. Allegiant should have been a motivation. Even Mercedes-Benz should have been a motivation. Like, okay, I'm gonna move on because I don't even know. I don't even know, like, what is we talking about? What is we doing? Even the Cardinal Stadium, because I've actually been in the Cardinal Stadium for a concert, right? And it was super hot and dry in September when we went to the concert for the Cardinals. And I believe, no, they dumped it off. They closed it because, I mean, probably because it was so hot. Okay. And like, even, like, even their stadium, the only obstruction or obscured views that I had was from the actual artists on the way they did their stage, right? And it's like, oh, at that point, okay, right? But it wasn't anything like in the stadium where it was like I couldn't see, or I could only see half of it. And it would be different if like that only came out for like concerts, like where they moved it out, or it can move in and move out. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do there. But we're going to see in 6 weeks if there has been any adjustments or any changes. But I can only imagine how upset those fans are. Like, dang, y'all can't get us the Super Bowl and y'all can't get us a stadium without messed up views. Like, come on now. We got to give or take a little bit here. Where we shouldn't be giving and taking is right here. Terrion Arnold, which I reported on before, he was arrested because he had charges. He still has pending charges against him for... can I say that on here? Kidnapping and robbery. Yeah, it was bad actually. So, oh, okay, but in terms of his charges, obviously he got arrested in June. He was released by the Detroit Lions because they wasn't playing it. They wasn't having none of that. They said, no, 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 no. He is currently facing 8 felony charges. 8. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. You can double that. 8. All right. And I've done the story before. I've talked about it actually twice back in June when it happened. Okay. But in case you don't remember, let me just catch up really quick. I'm currently facing 8 felony charges, which include 4 counts of armed robbery and 4 counts of kidnapping stemming from multiple incidents in February 2026. This happened in Florida, and the alleged thing is that he went and basically got his get back on people that he knew that went and stole money from him. The estimated value was around $250,000. Now, unless something changed and the amount went up, okay. I see some people that are like on his side, like, well, I can't say that I wouldn't have did the same thing if it was me. Honestly, that's the wrong way to look at it. He should just let the authorities do their thing. Go to the authorities. If you know who the people are, you take them, their name, their pictures to the authorities and you let them do their job, right? But in this instance, it's like, well, why would I let them do that if I can go ahead and get signed by the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks? So the Seattle Seahawks are looking to sign him to a 1-year deal. And they're like, this is going to be so positive and so many great attributes. And he's going to be so, so good for this team if he does not go to jail. Yeah. Yeah. So his next scheduled court date is October the 5th, 2026. The NFL is already going to be starting. So hopefully there's no guaranteed money in there. And hopefully it's, wait. They're just trying to wait. They're also trying to see if the NFL is going to put him on an exemption list. And essentially that exemption list is basically going to be like, whether they allow him to, play or not. The exemption list is a commissioner's exempt list, and it is a special NFL status that only the commissioner can assign in unusual cases. Usually it's when there are pending legal charges. The player stays paid and doesn't count against the team's 53-man roster limit, but cannot practice or play in games. They may still attend meetings, workouts, and receive treatment at the facility. It is not saying that it's a finding of guilt, and it does not end, essentially what the legal process is doing, but basically is if he gets put on this exempt list, it'll allow him to then go to workouts, go to meetings, and be a part of the Seahawks organization, hoping that he doesn't, get the hammer slammed down on him in October when he goes back to court. And then if he does not get charged, or he goes into one of these other programs, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, which I think is, I'm not with it, but if he goes into one of these pre-child intervention programs, he, does what he has to do and gets away, gets off essentially by joining a treatment program and then staying out of trouble for a year, then he can be included onto the 53-man roster for the NFL or for the Seahawks, and then start to go ahead and play and all that stuff, which really he wouldn't be behind if he's able to. He can't practice, but he can go to workouts, meetings, and all that other stuff. Go into the facilities to really learn and be a part of the team. So, what do you think about that? Yeah. I think it's actually crazy as well. I don't think that any team should have put themselves in a position to be able to sign him. Period. It's kind of like getting rewarded for having bad behavior. Oh, I'm still gonna get paid. I'm still can be a part of the team. I can still go to workouts. I can still do all of the things. I'm just not playing in the games. I'm just not practicing because I'm waiting on this. I'm waiting on my charge to see if they're going to be, here, there, or anywhere. And I feel the same way. Like all the athletes that get in trouble and that are facing charges at the moment, it's like you should not be able to be rewarded to play in the NFL until your name is cleared. Because there are some athletes that have been in trouble for things and they've gotten the boot for things that are not as major as this. 8 felony charges is a lot. And from what I've seen of the evidence, and I've reported on it before, like I said, there was text messages. He in a text message telling them what to do. There's, voice and FaceTime, and the witnesses are saying that it's him and all those other things. So, there's a lot of compelling evidence against him. So, I don't really know. But, in the world of having enough money to be able to do and get away with things, it sucks that we live in a world that is like that. And that leads me into exactly where's the lesson. He's not going to learn his lesson if he's rewarded with still being able to have an NFL career. Which leads me to the next topic of discussion here, which is breaking news and which came in today. So I had to add him in here. So obviously he wasn't on the little chart thing. But this is James Pierce Jr. So it just came down that the NFL is going to give him an 8-game suspension. Now, I've also reported on this way back when he was in a relationship with WNBA basketball. I'm going to call her a star because she's a star to me. But WNBA basketball player Rakia Jackson. It was reported that he tried to send her to the holy place. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Rammed his car into hers off the road. Police calls. She's calling. She was driving toward the police station because she's a smart girl. Driving toward the police station, calling saying that, he's trying to harm her in the worst way. And then from there, he rammed himself into her car, and then he goes on a chase. He's like evading the police, and then he crashes his car, and then he gets on foot and he runs away from the police officers to avoid arrest. And he faced felony charges as well, obviously. But this also happened in Florida. But he entered into a pre-trial intervention program where essentially the charges will be dismissed if he completes a year of the program, drug testing, and stays out of trouble for that year in which he is a part of. Now, I could probably think they're saying that, and they're allowed this because he may not have, and I'm assuming he does not have a criminal record. But he still tried to unalive somebody, regardless if y'all vehicular. Yeah, you feeling the rest. I don't want to keep saying it on here because, YouTube be striking. Yeah. So, he entered the program and ta-da! I can go back to the Atlanta Falcons, and I can go back to being a football player, and I can go back to being with the next girl that he's with because he's with another girl. who knows what's going on. And she's like, I ain't worried about that. He ain't gonna do that to me. He did that to her. He ain't gonna do that to me. He gonna change. He different. He gonna be different for me. For me, he gonna be different. Right? And he's just suspended for 8 games. He will be back in uniform, back on the field mid-season. So that's the news for today. The NFL is, I'm not really happy with that. I'm not really happy with the state of Florida with that either. Because it just doesn't hold them accountable of their actions, really. Like, I understand, like, maybe you're not a criminal and maybe you crashed out. But nah, dog. What are you doing? Because what does this tell him? Yes, you got to do this program. Same thing with Rashee Rice. Yes, you got to do your program. Rashee Rice actually had to spend 30 days in jail because he violated the program in the parole. But he's back. Right? Where are the lessons? Where is the accountability? Where is the accountability? It's like a picking and a choosing of who gets held accountable, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't. 8 games is laughable. It should be the season at minimum. If you're going to let him back, shouldn't even be back. Everybody should be gone for the season. 8 games? And maybe I'm also upset about it because it is a part of DV. And y'all, I mean, if you've been here for a while and you've seen my episodes, you know how I feel about this. Way back when it was What's Tea Wednesday, to when it turned into Locker Talk, to when it turned into the pretty spectacular football show, to it being here now with a daily dose of this. From all 3 of them shows, I've reincarnated myself 100 million times. You guys know how I feel about DV and how I feel like these athletes are not being held accountable across all of the sports. It's not just the NFL, but the NFL is getting it worse. And y'all know how I feel about that. And it just makes me so upset because where is the justice for her? Yes, she's alive and she is well, thank God. But what if the next girl ain't so lucky? I'm not gonna let this get my blood pressure up. And I'm about to wrap it up because info was about to start. But yeah. Yes, Ray Rice lost his whole career. Let that sink in. Picking and choosing. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I know you probably like, we asked you if you like it. I don't care. I'm saying it anyway. I don't like it. And I don't think they're being held accountable enough, in my opinion. I thought Rashee Rice was done. He went to jail. Most jobs, when you go to jail and they find out and they know that you went to jail, your job is done. You're done. You're cooked, toast, finito, out. Not in the NFL. In the NFL say, if you are an asset to us to help us make money, we're going to overlook every single thing. Child, at this point, they probably... I ain't gonna say that. We're gonna move on, though. Congratulations to Russell Westbrook, Uncle Russ. After 18 seasons, he is hanging up and retiring. He did choose to retire. And I seen the 2 options that he had to pick from between, I believe it was the Sacramento Kings, and it was some other team. He was like, nah, I'm good. I'm out of here. I'm gonna hang it up. Flat screen. Plasma. But 18 wonderful seasons, the freaking triple-double king. Russell has left such an amazing career, such an amazing stat line, he is going to be missed. And it's like an end of an era where we're finally seeing all of our older, more seasoned players finally hit the retirement. Everybody except LeBron. But, yes, that was a dig. But, I think it's wonderful and it's a beautiful thing to really hang it up. His wife even went on and was like, I'm so happy for you, but I'm also happy for me. And I'm like, I love that for you, sis. You get your husband back fully. Yeah, but we've seen him be a great dad, a great husband, a great basketball player. So it's just obviously bittersweet that we won't see Uncle Russ hit the court anymore. But after 18 seasons, well-fought, well-earned seasons for everything he has done, You can't say nothing but congratulations to him on winning that thing, wrapping that thing on up. 18 years is a long time. Okay? And moving on to our girl, CC. Now, CC has been and is in the conversations for the WNBA MVP award this year. And a lot of people are like, oh, she's the 11th best point guard. I'm like, no. And the stats don't lie. I know people like to say the stats lie. They like to say that. When it's a person that they don't like, the stats is lying. The stats is lying. They lying. But let it be somebody that they actually like and enjoy. Oh, the stats is correct. It is what it is. Hey, great. Right? It's always two-sided. But in my case and in my opinion, the stats don't lie. They just are what they are. And Caitlin is exactly who she thinks and believes that she is. Period. Now, defensively, could she get better? Absolutely. Absolutely. I really think she I think if she put a little bit more muscle, a little bit meat on her bones, and she get active, she really be good. She will really be taken by storm. But she's so thin. She's so thin. And that's not a bad thing. This is her body. Right? And she's never really been known as the defensive girl. She's been known that she's going to get you points on the board. So you better have somebody else doing some defense. And that's no tea, no shade. Okay? Because you got some girls that are really great at defense. Getting the rebounds and all of that. Shooting is questionable. Okay? So you better make sure you got a good point guard because you get my drift? Okay. And that's no tea, no shade against anybody. I just think that when you're great at what you're great at, you do what you're great at. And you find somebody else who's also great at what they do, and you put it together, and then you got fantastical. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. But anyway, so right now her stats are reading. She has 1,167 points created, first in the league. 40.2 points per game created, first in the league. 1.32 points per minute. 1.32 points per minute. First in the league. 8.20 assists per game. First in the league. 21.7 points per game. Third in the league. We still need to be convinced that her name shouldn't be in the conversation of MVP? Y'all want her to be more defensive, though. That's what y'all saying. I'm saying y'all, not me. I think the people that watch me are going to be on my side. But it's just a case. You're watching me, you're not on my side. So are you saying that you just want her to be more defensive and then maybe she could be MVP? Or like, what are we saying? Because we've had a defensive player of the year also be MVP because she's good at what she does in terms of being a defensive diva, right? She can also put points on the board too, but she's a defensive diva. Also be the MVP. So why can't we have an offensive player of the year? Not saying that she is or she will be, but I'm just saying. Why couldn't we have an offensive player of the year also be MVP? So I'm just saying. We gotta make it make sense to me because a lot of things that we be talking about don't be making sense. I definitely think that she should be in MVP conversations. I think that obviously when she was hurt and injured and everything, she was on her way to being in that conversation. But obviously she faced and fell down on injury. But now she is getting back and we're seeing the Caitlin Clark that we knew that we were going to see anyway. So yes, absolutely, she should be in the MVP conversation. She should be in a lot of conversation when it comes to the WNBA because we're not going to play like her presence and what she's done for the sport has not been phenomenal. We're not going to play like that, at least not over here. We don't do that over here. We're not that delusional over here. And that's no shade to anybody else who may be a little bit delusional because there are other players who have added and helped along the way. But the tides really turned when Caitlin Clark entered into the room. And I'm going to stand on that. And that's on that. Okay? So, yeah. You sold. I'm sold. That is what it is. Go buy her merch too. I really love her merch. I love her merch. I love the C and the C. It just looks so elegant, so classy, but casual. Like she understood the assignment. Understood the assignment. And please don't take this as me not liking other girls either, because I love other girls. I congratulate them, I highlight them, and all those other things. All of the other things. But I'm gonna do the same thing for her too. Okay? Because I know for a little while people was coming in my comments and in my DMs talking about like I was hating. Or that I was the R word. Because I didn't promote her up as much. Y'all just wasn't paying attention. Y'all wasn't listening. Y'all wasn't watching the show. Y'all wasn't watching the show. Watch the show. You get everything you need from the show. Okay? Hello? Anyway. Okay, let's get into it. But that is it. That is all. I did go a little bit longer than I wanted to go because it's 7:04, but it doesn't even matter. This was a great show. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stayed tuned and was here. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for just, if you popped in for 1 second and popped back out, that helps too. So thank you for doing all that you do. Please make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing on all social media platforms at PG Love Sports and also prettygirlsmedia.co on Instagram. Make sure you're locked in with me. Stay put. And as always, I love you guys for all that you do. I'm out of here. Bye.